Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in today to our podcast. My name is Kayla St. Eliard and I'm with the Agency for Substance Abuse Prevention here in Oxford. So this month we are going to be covering post-traumatic stress disorder awareness. We have a guest here today that is going to give us just a little bit of a background on his experience with it and some things that he has maybe dealt with over his life, as well as his knowledge on post-traumatic stress disorder. So give us your name and what is your occupation? Did you used to be in the military?
Yeah, I'm Brandon Anderson. I served 2 years and a little bit of change in the Army, and then I went into the Marine Corps for 14 years after that.
Cool beans.
I got medically retired, so now I'm a mechanic.
That's awesome. So what was your MOS when you were in the Marines?
In the Marines, I was electro-optical ordnance repair. I worked on missile guidance systems and night vision and thermal vision.
That's so cool. Yeah, so I know you probably experienced a lot and everything like that, and maybe saw your fellow soldiers experience a lot as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that had to be. I feel like people in the military are pretty brave because, like, I wanted to go in at one point, and then I was like, I'm a little bit of a scary person. So I have family members in the military, and my dad was in the Marines, so I have so much respect for people that are in the military. I think it's pretty cool, and thank you for serving. We really appreciate that. I tell people all the time, we wouldn't be the country that we are without people that lay their life on the line, put their life on the line for, us to have the freedoms that we do have. So I really appreciate that. So I just wanted to give a couple of facts. So for people that don't know, PTSD is a mental health condition that's triggered by a terrifying event, whether they experience or whether they witness it. And as of 2021, there are about 8 million people in the United States that are diagnosed with this condition. And that's a lot of people, unfortunately. And some common symptoms that people have, is being easily startled or frightened, always being on guard for danger, self-destructive behavior. They may have trouble sleeping, trouble concentrating, irritability such as like angry outbursts or aggressive behaviors, and overwhelming guilt or shame. And so here at the Agency for Substance Abuse Prevention, we deal with spreading awareness of substance use disorders. We are not a treatment facility. I have to tell people that all the time. We are strictly prevention. We just like to bring knowledge, bring awareness to situations that are going on. And I just based off of research that I did, I noticed there are a few people that, do struggle with PTSD, do have a substance use disorder of some sort. And in order to treat PTSD, there are a few medications, common medications that I did look up, and you have Zoloft, Paxil, Prozac, and Effexor. And these medications have been proven to be most effective, but there are other antidepressants and medications out there that are used to treat this disorder. And also among recent veterans in the past 10 years, according to the CDC, 63% were diagnosed with the substance use disorder in correlation with PTSD. So it's very, very prevalent right now. And it's really sad. It saddens my heart that, even though, being in the military is a big, highly respected and a big deal, that y'all have to go through so much. You know what I'm saying? Well, I know some, and maybe not you necessarily, but it's just a lot of just traumatic things that happen to people, and it makes me really sad. So how often did you ever see anyone struggle with that, maybe that had PTSD while you were?
I had several Marines that I served with that struggled with it. I had actually over the last 5 years, 2 Marines that worked for me when I was in Okinawa have taken their own lives because of post-traumatic stress.
Oh my gosh.
And I battled with it for a little while myself. Yeah. And actually had a fellow Marine step in and get me some help because I was showing up to work late. I had alcohol in my breath when I got there. I was having problems, and he could have just thrown me to the wolves and my career would have been over, but he decided to step in and help me out.
Wow.
And he's still a part of my family today, even though he's up in Massachusetts and I'm down here. We talk.
Yeah.
We keep in touch, so.
That's really amazing. I'm glad you had someone there, and I feel like it's important. If you guys know anyone that is struggling, be that person. Everybody, needs somebody to, step in and correct them sometimes, when they're struggling and going through things and they need a shoulder, to lean on. And I'm really happy that, you had someone there, because there's no telling, where you could be, now today.
Probably divorced or
dead.
dead.
But I'm just happy because I see how you are with your wife. She brags on you all the time, and I'm like, I respect that so much, and I'm so happy that
She's
you
been
got
through a lot.
Yeah, but she's awesome, and I can just tell based off of her, I'm like, she has to have a pretty awesome husband as well. So you said you struggled with PTSD. How long did you?
I still struggle with it.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as it used to be. The VA has put me on some medications, and I don't know. I'd probably take 8 to 10 medications a day, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I know what a couple of them are called, but I don't really keep up with all that. They've tried over the past couple of years to change this and change that, because I was having some like anger issues and short-tempered and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it started probably about 2006. Came back from my second deployment to Iraq, and I just had a hard time dealing with things.
Yeah.
And I turned to alcohol, and then my wife wasn't happy. That's when I started screwing up at work, and a fellow Marine stepped in and was like, "Hey man, this ain't you. You gotta stop."
Yeah.
And he got me some help. So
Yeah.
he made me see that I needed help.
Yeah.
And then we worked on it together. But
Yeah.
it's still hard. I don't sleep well. I have some nightmares occasionally, and things like that kind of tend to bleed into your daily life.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a rough night or something, you go to work, you can't focus, and you have problems with. And there's always that loud sound that startles you, and you kind of turn. I'm like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
But it's part of life. I've learned to deal with it.
Yeah.
I got a good support group at home and at work, so it's not so bad anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that support group. And I'm going to attach some links to this video for some different support groups and hotlines that I just, within my research, came across. That if you or anyone else out there need help, just feel free to call, feel free to reach out and get that help that you need. So do you have any stories maybe that you would like to share with us, maybe about someone that you knew that struggled, or maybe a personal experience? Is completely up to you.
So stories. I don't know. I was in Iraq in 2005, and that's right around the time the assault on Fallujah was over, but Ramadi was hot and heavy, and there was a lot of snipers there and a lot of people that just didn't want us to be there. And we got hit with an IED, and the convoy had to stop and do its normal security. And we started taking fire from a rooftop. So in typical Marine fashion, we're not going to have that. We're going to go neutralize the situation. And I was right behind a really good friend of mine. And when he got up to the top of the rooftop, he got hit. And we didn't realize. I mean, we knew he got hit, but we thought it was like shoulder or something. He got hit in the side of the neck. And got him in my arms. I'm screaming for the doc. And there's a firefight going on all around me, and I don't even care. I just want my friend to be okay.
Yeah.
And that was hard for me because he didn't even make it off the rooftop.
Yeah.
And we were friends. I mean, we went to the gym together. We ate together. We went to the phone center and called our wives together. I mean, we pretty much spent all of our time there together and leaned on each other to support during that time.
Yeah.
And that was kind of rough on me, and I think that's what was the tipping point for me when I came home. And I kept I would constantly replay that in my mind. Is there something I could have done different? Could I have prevented this? Is it my fault? Is it his fault? Is it the Marine Corps' fault? And you just go through all that, and you're like, you can't turn it off. Those thoughts are just constantly running through your mind, and there's nothing you can do about it. Till you get some help. Somebody to clarify and put things into perspective for you. So that was a rough experience for me and my family, because I took a lot of it out on them.
Yeah, that sounds pretty rough. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know what I would do myself. I would probably have just a complete breakdown and wouldn't have even been able to make it back home. So that's why I really think that's awesome that you pushed through that. That just shows the kind of character and person you are, to be strong enough to push through all of that.
Oh, I didn't do it alone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure.
I definitely had some help and some support there, because I probably wouldn't be here if I had tried to do that by myself.
Yeah. Now, did you get I know that you said that they did, you did receive medication. Did they also give you some sort of therapy as well?
Yeah, I still see a therapist.
Yeah.
I don't get to see him as often as I would like, or as often as he would like, because the VA is really backed up. But
yeah,
I still see a therapist about once a month.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, there's used to be this stigma, around seeing a therapist. Like, oh my gosh, you see a therapist? I can't believe that. But I tell people all the time, if you can get therapy, get therapy. Like, I have seen a therapist before for some things that I have gone through in my life. It wasn't nearly as traumatic as that, but still, I was like, I need to talk to somebody. I need to get help.
Sometimes talking to the people or people you care about, just, it's good to talk to them, but that's not really what you need. You need someone that doesn't know you and is separated from the situation, to kind of give you a different look on it. Because people that love you, they're going to take your side, and they're going to be like, oh, it's not your fault. You're better than this. And then the people that are professionals and they're not even attached to that situation at all are like, no, you shouldn't be doing things like that. That's not healthy. You need to get some professional counseling on alcohol abuse or some help with this or that or whatever. And a lot of times family and friends just won't tell you the hard things that need to be said. So
they're gonna give it to you straight, just how you need it to get.
Exactly.
And that's why I think family and friends, they were like, on my side, but I needed that therapist to be like, hey, now, this ain't right? Like, so I definitely think that was good for you to get some therapy. And I'll say, and I'll keep reiterating this throughout the entire podcast, you guys, it is not shameful to receive therapy. It is not shameful to ask for help at all. That's why you have agencies like the Agency for Substance Abuse Prevention. That's why you have agencies like Ross. That's why you have the VA. That's why you have different people surrounding you, different agencies surrounding you, to be able to get the help that you need. Feel free to reach out. Like I said, I will add in resources here at the bottom of the screen for you to be able to contact, reach out to, or anything like that. So to wrap up our podcast, do you have any advice that you would like to give your fellow veterans? Maybe someone that is in the military currently that is struggling, or just, anyone in general that's struggling with PTSD?
Best advice I can give you is lean on the people close to you. And if somebody says something that makes you feel uncomfortable or angry even, hey man, you got a problem, I think you need some help. Don't take that as an insult. Take that as, these people care about me and they don't want to see me like this. I'm not at my best right now. Maybe I really do need some help. Because a lot of people don't want to admit that they have a problem, and they take offense to someone trying to tell them, hey, you need to get some help. And that's the worst thing you can do, because that just pushes you further back in that rabbit hole. And you can wind up like a couple of guys I know that just kept going further and further down that hole until they couldn't take it anymore. And now they're not with us. And that's their own doing. Sucks that they had to go through the things that they had to go through, but they had help, they had support, they just pushed it away. So
that's true.
That's the best advice I can give anybody. Use the resources you have, lean on the people that are close to you, because you're going to need a rock. It's not easy going through something like that, especially, and it's not just military service members that experience post-traumatic stress. I mean, rape victims and child abuse victims, all these people that have these traumatic experiences in their life. You can have a bad car accident and get PTSD. I don't want to drive in a car anymore. Things like that. So it's, people typically associate it with the military, but it's not just us. It can happen to anybody.
That's true. That's right. And y'all keep that in mind. It can happen to anyone. It could happen to, like you said, someone that isn't even in the military. I'm glad that you honed in on that, because people need to know. Do you have any resources that you would recommend, like any actual, maybe besides the VA? Or
not right off the top of my head. I got some stuff at the house, like pamphlets with websites and hotlines and stuff like that, but I haven't personally used any of those, but I know some people that have called those hotlines and used those resources. I can probably get a copy of that up here with my wife. If you wanted to add that in.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely could do that for sure. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, that'll be very helpful. Well, this is all we have today. Thank you so much, Mr. Anderson, for coming on today and speaking with us. Here at the Agency for Substance Abuse Prevention, we always want to emphasize our HOPE campaign. Hold on, pain ends. You are not alone. You don't have to go through any of this alone. You have people out there that do care, that want to help. Please make sure that you get the help that you need. If you or anyone that you know is contemplating suicide, I will attach the number for the suicide prevention hotline below. And please feel free to call that number. Don't be ashamed, and there's no stigma behind that. Thank you again for tuning into this month's podcast, and I hope you guys have a great day.